of people underestimate George Foreman. In his own way, very smart, big, strong guy. I think Larry Holmes.
Few figures in boxing history command as much respect as Emanuel Steward, the legendary trainer behind Kronk Gym, the mastermind who molded champions, and the voice whose commentary defined decades of the sport. Throughout his life, Steward worked with icons, studied every style up close, and understood greatness on a deeper level than almost anyone. So when a man like him names the fighters he admired most, fans know it's not just another list. It's a master teacher revealing the boxers who represented everything he loved about the sweet science. Today, we break down the 10 fighters Emanuel Steward personally highlighted as his all-time favorites. The men whose talent, spirit, and boxing brilliance left a permanent mark on him. 1. Thomas Hearns. For Emanuel Steward, Thomas, the Hitman. Hearns wasn't just a fighter. He was family, a brother, and the very symbol of what Kronk Gym stood for. Steward discovered Hearns as a skinny Detroit teenager and transformed him into one of the most feared punchers in history. The two shared countless hours in the gym, building the style that produced knockout after knockout across multiple divisions. Hearns' explosive power, long reach, and warrior mindset made him Steward's proudest achievement. Every time Hearns fought, Steward wasn't just in the corner, he was emotionally invested. Hearns represented the heart, grit, and transformation that Steward believed boxing was all about. 2. Lennox Lewis. Steward admired Lennox Lewis for his unique blend of physical gifts and disciplined intelligence. When Steward took over Lewis's training, he reshaped him into a complete fighter, sharpening his jab, honing his patience, and reinforcing his mental strength. Steward believed Lewis had one of the best boxing minds of his era, capable of adjusting mid-fight and staying calm under pressure. Their partnership produced one of the most dominant heavyweight reigns in modern history. Steward often said Lewis was the most coachable elite fighter he ever worked with, a rare heavyweight who combined power, precision, and professionalism. 3. Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko was another fighter Steward deeply respected because of the journey they shared. When Klitschko sought him out, he was at a crossroads, struggling with knockout losses and confidence issues. With Steward's guidance, he reinvented himself, turning into a strategic, defensively sound champion who controlled the division for nearly a decade. Steward valued Klitschko's dedication, humility, and willingness to rebuild himself from the ground up. To Steward, Klitschko was proof that greatness isn't only about talent, it's about discipline, patience, and lifelong growth. 4. Julio Cesar Chavez. Steward admired Julio Cesar Chavez for his relentless pressure, iron resistance, and textbook inside technique. He saw Chavez as the perfect representation of a fighter who never wasted motion. Always moving forward, always breaking opponents down with precision body shots and suffocating pressure. Steward appreciated how Chavez took simple fundamentals and executed them with ruthless efficiency. Even though Steward never trained him, he studied him intensely and often used Chavez's discipline and work ethic as examples for his students. 5. Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard earned Steward's admiration for his brilliance, charisma, and complete command of the ring. He possessed everything a trainer dreams of: speed, footwork, timing, intelligence, and the ability to adapt instantly. Steward loved how Leonard could fight in bursts, change rhythm, and rise to the occasion in the biggest moments. Leonard's performances against Hearns, Duran, and Hagler impressed Steward not only for their athleticism, but for the heart and determination behind them. To him, Leonard was a generational talent whose greatness could shine in any era. 6. Marvin Hagler. Steward respected Marvin Hagler as the embodiment of blue-collar toughness. Hagler trained like every fight was a war and carried himself with the mentality of a man who knew nothing would ever be handed to him. Steward admired how Hagler crafted his own style, switching stances, keeping constant pressure, and never allowing an opponent to take a breath. What impressed Steward most was Hagler's consistency. No drama, no excuses, just a fighter who showed up ready to battle every single night. Hagler represented the spirit of boxing that Steward loved most: hard work, grit, and heart. 7. Evander Holyfield. Holyfield earned Steward's respect for his indomitable fighting spirit. Steward admired how Holyfield, despite starting as a cruiserweight, took on the giants of the heavyweight division without fear. His ability to fight through pain, dig deep in tough moments, and push past his limits impressed Steward enormously. Holyfield wasn't just a skilled fighter. He was a man who embraced every challenge, whether it was Tyson, Bo, or anyone else. Steward loved fighters with heart, and Holyfield had one of the biggest hearts he had ever seen. 8. Pernell Whitaker. Steward saw Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker as a rare kind of boxer, one whose defense was so masterful it bordered on artistry. Whitaker's ability to slip punches, create angles, and frustrate elite opponents made him a puzzle few could solve. Steward loved that Whitaker never relied on raw power. Instead, he controlled fights with intelligence, rhythm, and pure instinct. Each movement Whitaker made, each duck, pivot, and slide, was calculated but looked effortless. Steward believed Whitaker was one of the most technically gifted fighters the sport had ever seen, a man who turned the ring into his own personal canvas. Even when Whitaker didn't get the official decision, Steward often said that true boxing minds knew exactly who won. To him, Whitaker was a genius who changed how defense was understood. 9. Oscar de la Hoya. Emanuel Steward had deep respect for Oscar de la Hoya because he believed Oscar represented what a true modern professional should be. De la Hoya fought everyone: Trinidad, Mosley, Whitaker, Mayweather, Hopkins, and never avoided challenges, even when the odds were against him. Steward admired Oscar's golden combination of natural athleticism, sharp reflexes, and textbook fundamentals, especially his impeccable jab, which Steward often praised as one of the best in the sport. He appreciated De La Hoya's discipline outside the ring as well, noting how Oscar always entered training camp in top condition and carried himself with the composure of a champion. To Steward, De La Hoya didn't just win fights. He elevated them with his determination and willingness to push himself against the very best. 10. Muhammad Ali. To Emanuel Steward, Muhammad Ali was more than a heavyweight champion. He was the soul of boxing itself. Steward admired Ali for redefining what a big man could do in the ring, floating on his toes with the grace of a lightweight and striking with pinpoint accuracy. But what truly captured Steward's admiration was Ali's courage, both inside and outside the ropes. Ali risked everything, his title, his career, even his freedom, to stand by his beliefs. In the ring, he fought giants like Foreman, Frazier, and Norton, and proved that heart sometimes matters more than raw strength. Steward often said that Ali had an irreplaceable aura, a magnetism that made every fight feel like a historic event. In Ali, Steward saw the perfect mix of talent, bravery, resilience, and showmanship, making him not just a favorite fighter, but a timeless symbol of greatness. Emanuel Steward spent his entire life studying fighters, training champions, and shaping boxing history from the inside. His list of favorites isn't just a ranking. It's a reflection of what he valued most in the sport: skill, discipline, heart, and the willingness to grow. From Hearns and Lewis to Ali and Chavez, these are the fighters who inspired him, challenged him, and reminded him why he dedicated every breath to the sweet science. And when a legend like Steward speaks, the boxing world listens. His choices give us a rare window into the mind of one of the greatest trainers ever to step inside a gym.